All right, welcome back to Fleckus Talks, the podcast, episode 259. Today on the show, a whistleblower said global elites spent $21 trillion on an underground city for when an extinction event happens. What? Then, Dave Portnoy is mad because of anti-Semitism at his bar. We're going to go over his response. Then in Cringe of the Week, we have a weird adult gay baby section you're not going to want to miss. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, a guy was robbed and assaulted by the same man 3 times in 1 week, and police keep letting him go. All this and more, it's Fleckus Talks, the podcast, episode 259, ranked the best news podcast of all time!
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleckus Talks, the podcast, featuring Richard Grabboy. All right, 1 for 1 on the intro, as always. Guys, with everything going on with the economy lately, it feels like we're on shaky ground. Prices are stuck at high levels and no one can seem to afford anything, which is why a lot of people are relying on credit cards to fill the gap. Credit card debt is skyrocketing and leaving a lot of people stressed out. If you're a homeowner, you don't have to face this uncertainty alone. My friends at American Financing can help you take control. They can help you access the equity in your home to help you pay down high-interest credit card debt, giving you peace of mind and real savings. On average, people like you are saving $800 per month, plus they may close your loan in as little as 10 days. Call American Financing now. It costs you nothing to get started, and you can delay 2 mortgage payments, giving you a cushion in these uncertain times. Call 866-889-8121 now. That's 866-889-8121. That phone number is linked in the description. You can also go to americanfinancing.net/Fleckus. That's linked in the description as well. Thank you to American Financing for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping. All right. Thank you to American Financing for sponsoring.
Thank you, American Financing.
Very cool. New sponsor.
There you go.
And we're very happy and very grateful. All right, guys, we have a packed Tuesday show, longer show than usual, as usual.
New normal, I guess?
The new normal. Yeah. We're right around an hour and 30 minutes now. I kind of want to jump right into the first story because I'm excited to tell everyone about it. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, first is the story, and then I'm going to give you some background. Trump wants to reopen Alcatraz.
Yeah, rebuild and open Alcatraz. For too long, America has been plagued with vicious, violent, repeat criminal offenders, the dregs of society, who will never contribute anything other than misery and suffering when we were a more serious nation, blah, blah, blah. He wants to reopen the prison island.
Exactly. And now if you're like me, you're probably thinking, damn, wasn't that your guys' idea from episode 124? Play the clip, please.
We need resources, a.k.a. one building. Stuff them in, lock them in. Door, the lock is on the outside, not the inside.
The building's a boat, send the boat out.
The boat, it goes to Alcatraz, it takes laps.
I like the idea you said of putting everyone on Alcatraz.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what are we doing? We're wasting everyone's time with tours of Alcatraz right now. That's a perfectly good island prison right outside of San Fran. So
okay, we have an idea there. Maybe we could add that to the list of Trump things. Mm-hmm. So this confirms it. Trump is a show watcher.
Or at least one member of his staff, I would say, is a show watcher.
And you might be thinking, oh, that was just a great idea, and Trump and his team have great ideas too, and great ideas overlap. But I have more proof. Remember the thumbnail from Friday? Mm-hmm. Me in the Muslim outfit going like this. Me in the white religious garb going like this. Mm-hmm. Trump, 2 hours later, posted this.
Wow.
Him in the Pope outfit giving the number 1 symbol, and the Pope doesn't even do this.
Yeah, it's pretty undeniable now. Trump is, maybe it's Barron who's telling him about it, telling him all these ideas.
Someone is.
Yeah.
And, so this means someone on Trump's team is likely a show watcher, just like Trump is.
Yeah. And Alcatraz, you want to talk about Alcatraz at all?
A little bit.
It's kind of like a symbolic thing. There's probably a better island somewhere or like some place in the middle of Nevada or where there's solar panels somewhere where you could just stuff a bunch of people and there's nothing within 100 miles. But I think it's a symbolic thing where he wants to reopen Alcatraz and be like, we're hard on crime again.
I hope he does, and that would be a really good symbolic gesture because that was like an Americana prison.
And then I saw somebody else talking on Twitter about how he should reopen Ellis Island, but for deportations. I think we need to take back some of our institutions.
Take back some of our institutions, it's called.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
Trump, if you're listening, if you're watching, Ellis Island in reverse.
Ellis Island next.
Please.
Trump, and thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff.
Yep.
All right, moving on. We have a DOGE update from Elon's nerds. Check out what they're talking about.
The Inter-American Foundation, IAF, is one of the agencies we visited where, they get $50 million a year, congressional money, to give grants. These are things like, alpaca farming in Peru, improving
That's a real example.
Yes, that's the real description. Improving the marketability of peas in Guatemala.
Really?
Fruit jam. Yes.
What? Yeah.
So you might expect, in the private sector, a nonprofit to give, 80 to 90% of their money to grantees. In the case of IAF, that was 58%. So the other half goes towards management, travel.
What we're to find exactly, to Ethan's example is that even if you agreed with supporting alpaca farmers in Peru, actually most of the money never made it out of D.C.
Mm-hmm. Most of it never made it out of D.C. He goes on to say that on average, for every dollar, only 10 to 15 cents on the dollar makes it to the actual cause.
So not only is it a bad mission, but it's horrible execution. So you lose twice, and this is like the leftist machine whirring up, and that's why they hate DOGE so much. I like how this little guy kind of like is emulating Elon.
They kind of talk similar.
He kind of has the same, he's morphing into his face. You know how like a dog looks like his owner? Yeah. He's kind of becoming Elon, and he's pausing at the right times. But, and then speaking, if we're talking about people's appearances here, Jesse Waters, what happened to him?
He's tan. He's outside a lot.
Okay. All right. You're trying to be cordial. You're trying to be nice to Jesse.
He's another show watcher.
I think Jesse, something went wrong in the tanning booth. I don't know.
He's getting dark. He's getting tan. Hopefully he's getting natural sunlight, which is obviously a recommendation for everybody.
Doesn't look like it.
I
know you like Jesse Waters. I know you like Jesse.
Do you know his parents were headmasters of a private school that I went to 8th grade at?
Yeah, you told me that.
And his family knows me, or they used to.
So you don't want to bring up the bad
But they were horrible liberals.
Okay, so he broke the mold?
Yeah, and they are mad at him for being right-wing and on Fox News. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. I like nerds like that.
Me too. The young nerds, they're hungry.
They're getting it done.
They can go line by line on some data and figure it out.
Definitely. And then also, obviously, the money laundering scam, that's all taxpayer dollars, and they're laundering it. Oh, it's for an alpaca farm. And then 90% of it doesn't even do the alpaca farm, which was a stupid idea to start with.
Exactly. So
it's
the
all
mission
just
and execution are bad.
You just pay your boys. Oh, yeah, you want to go to the alpaca farm? All right. I'll pay your company, blah, 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 and we'll send some money to an alpaca farm.
Yeah, and DOGE, for the amount of PR that it got at the beginning of the term, DOGE obviously made a lot of waves, and I don't want Americans to forget this feeling, like an alpaca farm, transgender frogs, whatever the bullshit it was, because that's what's happening all the time, and if you don't have an active defense against that, then that'll just all come back. 2 presidents from now, it'll be way worse. And
exactly.
So I want that to be on the forefront of people's minds. You know?
Exactly. And then when it comes to the media coverage, obviously, it's indefensible to give taxpayer dollars where 90% of the dollars aren't even going to the cause, and the cause isn't what taxpayer wants anyway. Mm-hmm. And then when you think about the media coverage, the media is basically covering for the other side of what DOGE is exposing. 96% of media coverage for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland dad, was positive, and then 96% of media coverage for Elon is negative.
Crazy.
Very telling.
Upside down world, and Elon's kind of stepping back from DOGE now too, and he's got the machine running with all these little junior Musks who are emulating his behavior.
Junior Musk.
So, hopefully we keep making headlines and keep going. It's really unbelievable amounts of waste.
Exactly. And
it's buried. It's buried waste. It's hidden. It's laundered. We had to pull this string for 3 days. This kid who could have gone to MIT right now. But we found the Peru alpaca shit.
Yeah.
So it's bad, and I don't want any of us to forget about how bad it is.
Never forget, it's such a huge waste of taxpayer dollars. And another waste of taxpayer dollars would be going to fight a war for Israel.
War against Iran.
And it looks like we're not on, I mean, we could be on the track, but right now it looks like we're not on that direct track because Trump fired Mike Waltz. Can you read that tweet, please?
So Trump fired Mike Waltz because he was working with Benjamin Netanyahu to push for an attack on Iran. Remember that it was Waltz who let the reporter into the Signal chat, which almost cost Hegseth his job. Hegseth has been a bulwark against war with Iran.
So we need Pete Hegseth in there.
Yeah.
And then remember that Signal chat debacle wherever the journalist was let in, Mike Waltz let him in. Real sleazy move. And he's working with Benjamin Netanyahu directly. What's going on here?
Very weird. And it ultimately comes down to how much certain people are pushing forward Trump's agenda and whether or not they have some personal side quest or political favor that they want to garner with someone else. And it's just such a shame to see in the second administration we're still dealing with the same rogue, random people who have some loyalty to Benjamin Netanyahu and blowing up Iranian defense projects, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then, like the guy said, and like we said, we like Pete Hegseth. He's not for Iran war, which is great. And then Occupy Democrats posted a meme about Pete Hegseth comparing him to gay Pete Buttigieg.
Our Pete and their Pete. This says it all.
Your Pete's a literal gay guy who gets F'd in the A.
F'd in the A, or he F's a guy in the A, and he's acquiring a minority baby with his buddy.
And our Pete has Christian tattoos.
Yeah.
So it's funny because those two facts are the reason why both sides like their person and don't like the other person. Like, we like Pete Hegseth because he's like a Christian family man, and they like Pete Buttigieg because he's a gay guy.
I know.
And then we don't like Pete Buttigieg because he's a gay guy, and they don't like Pete Hegseth because he's a Christian.
I know.
It's
a Rorschach test.
It's crazy. It's like the same information, but either way, it means different things to different people.
Yeah. Is the dress blue and black or yellow and gold, right? It's a fucking internet meme.
Pete Hegseth has Christian tattoos. It's like, yeah, Pete Hegseth has Christian tattoos. Yeah. It's actually crazy. All right, we're moving on. Our next story is something I did not know and I wanted to share with you guys, obviously. Yeah. You can't have a self-defense weapon in Canada.
Yeah, somebody asked, I think Grok or something, is it illegal to carry anything for self-defense in Canada? And the answer said, in Canada, it is indeed illegal to carry any item specifically for self-defense. This includes weapons like pepper spray or knives if the intent is self-defense per the Criminal Code of Canada.
So you can't say what you want to say, you can't carry a weapon for self-defense, and you can't vote on whether or not you want millions of Indians into your country.
Nice country there.
Yeah, kind of dark.
I'm thinking about joining the military. I got to defend this nothing geopolitical zone.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Yeah.
But here in America...
You carry like an apple or something with a giant machete. It's like you always have to have an apple with your self-defense tool. So you're cutting something. No. That's not my fucking self-defense machete. It's for the cheese that I carry.
Yeah, it's my charcuterie switchblade. But obviously here in America, you can defend yourself and carry self-defense weapons. And as you guys know, we've been promoting pepper spray season where you carry pepper spray to de-escalate situations. We found a situation here where pepper spray could have been used.
These youths were confronted for smoking.
Yeah, they were smoking in this restaurant, and they asked them not to.
Hey, listen. Now. Cross the line. I didn't. You crossed the line.
Three-piece. Settled it.
And then you kind of just put your hand on his back and just like escort him out and then let him go, where am I? What's going on?
It is dangerous, though, to spray inside places and inside a restaurant, like train cars, those places. You got to have an exit plan. So if you're going to spray someone in a train car, you got to wait for the doors open, spray them, get out.
Yep. And in that situation, the manager can't do anything because the store could get sued or he could get fired.
Yeah.
So he's told, stand down, do nothing. Mm-hmm. And then judges and DAs let repeat offenders like this out, and they're just letting them out into society. So then there's kind of like a showdown, and you wonder who wins, the repeat offender who never gets in trouble or the store owner who can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
That's what we're up against. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's pepper spray season.
I know. Not in Canada, though.
Not in Canada.
Discussed.
And then this next example is another example of potential pepper spray season. This store is getting robbed. It's like a bakery. This guy just takes whatever he wants, as you can see. And then he walks out.
This is a bakery in New York that gets robbed from every day. There's like an entire Instagram page dedicated to people who come steal from it. It's called Paris Baguette in NYC.
That's kind of sick, to be honest. Like, obviously it's bad, but like, imagine just walking in.
They find a honey hole and they hammer it until the honey hole closes shop. And this guy's wearing a Morehouse College, a historically black college shirt. Not great.
But it's kind of, you walk in, you don't have to wait in line, you don't have to even spend your money. It's like going to the Amazon store.
I know.
But without
scan in, scan out.
Yeah, without scanning in and scanning out.
I think though they got rid of those too, for the most part.
I bet.
They started rolling those out back when I was working in downtown Chicago, and I went. And then I remember they released a story that they had a bunch of people in India just looking at the cameras. It wasn't like this AI advanced thing. They just had slave labor watching and typing in the answers.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So when you see that happen in New York and then that guy walks out of the store, you can kind of like walk by Jason Bourne style and just keep walking. And he's not going to know who you are. He's not going to call the cops. He's just going to have a shitty day.
Yeah.
And that's
he's not going to enjoy his stolen baked goods.
Yeah, he's going to eat his chocolate croissant like,
this fucking hurts. It's not even warmed up.
Oh, man. All right. Speaking of stealing and money being used inappropriately, can you read this tweet I found?
Fun fact, the only ethnic groups in America that pay more in taxes than they take in welfare are whites and Asians. Blacks in America have a tax/welfare deficit of $390 billion a year. That means that every 5 years, $2 trillion are taken from whites and Asians and given to blacks.
Well, I'd be happy keeping the $2 trillion. Is that where all my money went?
I don't know. Maybe personal finance-wise? No, that's not where it went.
That's not $2 trillion from me?
No,
That's just $2 trillion.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to say, I would be happy with $2 trillion. Okay. Let's move on to our last piece of pepper spray season updates. This guy uses it on homeless people. And before we play this clip, we cannot advocate doing this.
Shit, and you don't fucking listen. Pay attention to what I do to crackheads. You see this? Hey, how you doing? Merry Christmas. Get the fuck off my block!
So obviously we can't advocate for this, but those homeless people are going to leave that area and they're not going to return and they're not going to call the cops.
For sure.
That's all you can really ask for. You know?
I don't feel like you put your best foot forward on this pepper spray section. It was like spray the people indoors at McDonald's and spray the shoplifter in his eyes just on his way out. We're mainly for self-defense, but there are offensive pepper spray moments. So I don't know.
It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, sure.
A little bit of both. All right, so it's a great tool if you're a convenience store owner, like I said. But Mayor Adams has a different idea to help bodegas and shop owners in New York City. He is offering what's it called? Panic button.
Mayor says.
Panic button that you'll immediately be able to hit that is going to alarm the police and it's going to be connected directly to the local precincts. When you do the combination, it's going to give you access to the cameras in the store to see what is taking place and how we could get an immediate response.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to work great.
Yeah, so a cop's going to witness the brutal beatings that are taking place inside bodegas and like the muggings.
He's watching it like live leak, like, ooh, there it is.
There it is, got him.
I'm sure they'll be there fast, and then they're going to arrest the guy. It's like you're doing all these things to live in a society that has repeat offenders on the loose instead of just keeping those people at Alcatraz.
At Alcatraz, I know. And that's the thing, all these little, panic button, it's not a horrible idea. Your precinct, it's close. It only goes to the local one, the exact precinct that covers your bodega. But yeah, it's like doing the work after the battle's already been lost, loading a gun after your whole team got wiped out. If the repeat offenders are on the street, you're always going to have problems. So they're behind the eight ball, I guess, is what.
And it costs money.
Yeah,
costs a lot of money. All right, let's get to our
And I'm sure, and as we know with government spending, I'm sure this is like a panic button that could have been done by like Elon Musk with 3 engineers, and they're paying $1 billion for it. It'll be something astronomical.
It'll be something stew. All right, let's get to our Somali N-word section. As you guys know, the woman who called the kid the N-word raised like $500 and something thousand. People are not happy about that. We have a reaction clip here from this Muslim woman.
And you guys raised $250,000 for her? I am beyond disturbed. White people should not be forced to live among monkeys. Black fragility is getting pretty tiring. Sometimes to be accurate, you have to use unpleasant speech. White advocacy. I want to say that I'm shocked. But I'm not shocked. I'm angry. Can't even.
Very articulate. Nice contribution there. She read a couple things and it's like you can't even express yourself.
And remember when you guys raised over $500,000 for the black teenager who killed a white kid? That was last week.
I know. It was last week.
So maybe just sit this one out.
Yeah.
Also, things are obviously getting very tribal lately. Have you noticed that?
Of course.
Very tribal. And I am going to say this, like it's you don't want to be one to promote tribalism, but when you live in a world where all these groups are getting tribal, if you're in the group that says, "Oh, this isn't right. I'm above that. I'm above tribalism." That's the group that gets bulldozed and murdered.
I know. I'm going to take the high ground, and then they pick us off one by one because we're not in a tribe. Totally. And one of my main points, we showed the video, and it's a word. Who cares? The guy was like a sex offender. But there's a very particular order of things that needed to happen for this to hit 500,000 and go viral online. And it wouldn't have done it if it was a week before Austin Metcalf. It wouldn't have done it if it was a year ago. It wouldn't have done it in 2021 or right after George Floyd, 2020. There's a very specific order of operations and like viral memeability that had to go right for this to happen. And nobody's really, it's more symbolic. Again, it's like a symbolic gesture. And the times we're in right now, everyone will critique you and say you can't be tribal after being the most tribal we've ever seen them. So the black community blaming racism, doing all these things that they've done, taking ground the past couple of years, totally led up to this moment. It's not like this came out of nowhere. It's completely reactionary, and it's pretty simple. It was more like it's not about being right. It's about sending a message. Yeah. It was like a Joker thing from the white people online. So I don't know. It's this could only happen in a certain pocket of time, right?
Yep. And we are in that time. And it's like you said, it's a reactionary issue. It's a reaction to the way things have been that have gone too far. And it's white people just going, yeah, I'm done with this shit. I have the fatigue or whatever they call it. I'm tired of pretending that like white people are fine taking a back seat in society. Yeah, and then Mostly Peaceful Memes had a very funny meme. He said, explaining to my wife what she needs to do at the park so our family can achieve financial freedom.
And it's a good joke, but it's not going to happen again either. It happens once. There are a lot of people who said the N-word up until this point. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there are viral people. Remember that Asian guy who said the N-word when there was a guy creeping around his neighborhood?
The Indian woman in the car.
There's an Indian woman in a car. That was just 2 weeks ago, and she just kept repeating it. And, we didn't anoint any of them with $500,000 to move their family. So a very specific amount conditions brought this about.
Exactly. And then, as always, whenever you have these scandals, more information comes out, and it turns out that the people that are being defended are actually predators or doing illegal things. The Muslim guy has some more information about him.
Yeah, well, immediately after this came out, it was billed as a autistic 5-year-old got called the N-word, right? Sharmake Bale Omar has 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. The 2 boys are 9 and 11. Why did he claim one of them was 5 years old and autistic? Your failure to pay child support is public record, deadbeat. So they looked it up on who his kids were and how old they were.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And then we actually have some more information about autism in general. We covered this on the show a few months back about how the Somalis in Minnesota are scamming our system and getting federal handouts for autism research or autism help.
Providers. It's basically like autism therapy. State funding for autism providers is a straight line up, and then the number of autism providers operating in Minnesota is a straight line up. All you have to do is like kind of get a certification, open yourself up in a strip mall, and find 50 other Somalis to be clients. And you say, yes, mark him as autistic. It will help your benefits. And then you got a money machine going.
Exactly.
So the Somalis latched on, and then they're over-diagnosing and doing this. How many Somalis can possibly be autistic? Not this many. And so to the people claiming that the kid stealing stuff out of Shiloh's bag was autistic, Somali and Minnesotans have been scamming the system for years with fake diagnoses in order to scrape even more free gibs from the taxpayers.
Yeah, exactly. And the graph shows what's going on there as well. Mm-hmm. And then, like we said, there's scams that involve autism, but there's a lot of like other scams in general that the Somalis are really gravitating towards. And we found one, and it was so ironic and pretty much hilarious if it didn't involve so much taxpayer dollars. Can you give that a read?
Yeah, I think it was the Feeding Our Future scam, which was, I believe, a fraud up to $250 million that we also covered on the show. So this isn't the first Somali scam. They get in there and they start scamming the state and federal funds. This poster said, I think one of the funnier things to come out of the Feeding Our Future fraud case in Minnesota is the story below. During one of the fraud trials, a Somali woman showed up at a juror's house with $120,000 to vote not guilty. But that's not the funny part. The funny part is that the woman stole $80K of the bribe money for herself. It was supposed to be $200K.
So they can't even help themselves. They're stealing the bribe money.
And, that's third world shit, right? Stealing the bribe money. Everybody takes their piece when it gets to the final top. But then we have the D.C. Charities who only give 50% of the grants to the alpaca farmers. So there's one that's like, yes, salaries and plane tickets and this. And then the Somali's like, I got 80 grand. I'm not giving her the whole 200. There's different IQ levels of these scams, but they're everywhere.
They are everywhere. And then they're also scamming when it comes to their IDs too. Can you give that a read?
Yeah, this is an anecdotal story from someone on Twitter. He said, I live near one of the largest deposits of Somalians in the country. My friends that are police or work in the courts tell me they all have fake birthdays. Most of them put 1/1/2000 or something similar when they get here, but make sure to say their spawns are 1 or 2 years old, no matter how old. This serves a few purposes. They often will share a single driver's license, and it's impossible to know it's not them when they are pulled over because they look the same, and they all say the same birthday. Hard to find them when they don't show up for court for the same reasons. For the children, even if they are clearly 6 years old or more, they say 1 or 2. That way, the length of time they are able to collect EBT and childcare vouchers and be on WIC and various programs for the children is longer. The legal system allows this. They show up from some random place with literally nothing and just say whatever, and it's accepted at face value. Industrial scale scams happening.
Wow.
And that's the kind of anecdotal evidence that leads a New York Times story in 18 months. A New York Times investigative reporter will go in and find this in 18 months. It'll be like, yeah, that random guy on Twitter was talking to his cop friends and they said the same thing.
And that's why the anecdotal stuff, like we've said before, anecdotal is real.
Yeah.
It's more real than some study or whatever CNN says.
It's more real than the autism lines in the Minneapolis area because Somalis are now figured out they can print money from it.
We got into this weird timeline where you have to revert everything to authorities or the studies or the experts. And it's just look around. What did your dad say he saw at work?
Were there more Somalis at the mall?
Yeah.
There are simple indicators.
You can just look around and just feel it.
Yeah.
As opposed to needing to give away your, what's it called? Your own authority and your own decision making.
Yeah. You don't need to filter it through the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or anything like that. And so for this N-word stuff, good. Who cares? We stopped caring about your bullshit. I don't think the Somalis in that area are some of the more upstanding citizens. I'm not going to believe them on everything they say. I'm happy for the woman. She's in genuine danger, probably, the way people are getting mad online. So she needed the money. People wanted to have fun with it and show you that white people aren't just ignoring other whites. Again, this is all a reaction. We were happy to play the game. We were one of the least racist and racially conscious groups in the late 90s, early 2000s. We were kind of losing that.
Mm-hmm.
And people just took too much ground and made too many accusations, and the fatigue reached a breaking point.
It definitely did. All right, let's end this segment with one final tweet that I thought made a lot of sense. Can you give that a read?
The world you created is finally showing up to your events. You cheered diversity, silenced dissent, and made criticism of your role untouchable. Now the mask slips and you want sympathy? No, the verdict is in. People aren't confused anymore. They're fed up.
That's what it is. And that's like what you said too. It's been years of like whites being not racist at all. And then all of a sudden, a few years ago, we're told we have white supremacy and we're more racist than ever. And it's just like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah. And especially the way people have acted, news media, everything. Like the range that you should be caring about this Shiloh Hendricks saying the N-word and then getting over $500,000 is you should be apathetic to like amused.
Yeah.
Is it funny? Is it, oh, haha, wow. Yeah, after that Austin Metcalf fundraiser or the Carmelo Anthony one, this is funny. This is good. Or, I don't care. Some people on the internet wanted to do it. There's a range. And if you're offended or like, oh my God, clutching your pearls, you've lost touch with why it happened.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's move on to our migrant section. We have some good news to start.
Foreign-born versus native-born workers, the jobs report that just came out late last week. Native-born workers plus 1 million, foreign-born down 410,000.
That's good.
So we are slowly reversing the Joe Biden curse. And that's something I'm noticing a lot. We're in the migrant section. We're going to get to a couple holdovers from the Biden administration. Same thing with economic. I saw Trump said something like, oh, all the good parts of the stock market are me and the bad parts are Joe Biden. And it's like hyperbole and funny to say in an interview. But there are a lot of things that are still Biden influenced that are coming to terms right now. And so we're slowly reversing that native versus foreign born. And we're going to get to some of them, particularly the illegals and student loan repayments are getting started. Sorry, I'm going off track, but there's a lot of things that are like, there's a tailing 18 months that we need to sort out. So
exactly. And then when it comes to the deportations, Trump is also saying that he's thinking about paying the illegals $1,000 to each to deport, self-deport, because right now, on average, it costs $17,000 per illegal to be deported via ICE in like our systems.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So hopefully that helps. There was another truck driving crash incident the other day, and we have a little clue as to who did it.
Yeah, here's the pictures of the wreckage, and you're like, oh, wow, that looks bad. And then you zoom in to the cab, and he's got the Indian orange sheets on it. So that might have been Canada. I'm not sure if that was Canada or U.S., but we're obviously facing the same problems in our trucking industry.
Yep, got to get those out. And then there were some illegals from Tren de Agua that took over another apartment complex in Texas, I believe. Can you let that clip play?
And this is what I meant by the hangover. There's still like the result of the Biden administration that people are barely able to lick their wounds from it.
The owner of the 678-unit Palacia Apartments says they never financially recovered after Tren de Aragua gang members broke into hundreds of apartments, damaged them, and even rented them to people who had been staying at the city's Migrant Resource Center.
So this has been kicked in. It's gone.
Last summer, John Barker showed us how many of his apartments were being lived in by people who had left the migrant center or the airport shelter operated by the city. Some had paid money to gang members to stay there.
They had their own leases that they were signing with these residents or with these migrants that they were bringing in, taking their money and breaking into our units.
Barker says he begged the city for help, but at first an assistant city attorney responded with indifference.
And he said verbatim to me, we refuse to acknowledge there's a migration issue. And if there's any issue.
Wow. Yeah. And then CNN will cover this and say Trump cracks down on immigrant real estate entrepreneurs.
Dude, and that's the thing. This is like a 670 unit or whatever it was, some super high unit thing that they got strong-armed by with no help.
That's a massive complex.
I know. And can you imagine being a business owner during that time? But this is something you don't even really financially recover from if you're one of these kind of business owners. And so we're still in that Joe Biden hangover, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And certain people got affected a lot more.
All right, next we have a group of kids doing a presentation in school, and their topic was fuck ICE.
The story of others. The stories of others, intertwining like brothers, trying to change and free from struggles,
while at the same time hoping for help under the covers, unrecognized by others.
We are all humans, no matter the race. No disgrace, we all deserve a place, and we shouldn't have to pick up our pace because a police officer is in our face or a crazy white lady sprays us with mace.
We all are not thugs, and we all deserve hugs, and some of us won't even crush bugs.
We're getting deported by ICE, and I can't understand why everyone can't suffice.
We have might, so we must fight. Protest for our rights, look at the future, and set our sights.
Fuck ICE. Cooked, our system is cooked.
Booked, our president should read a book.
Shook, every time we see an officer, we shouldn't be shook.
Look, we shouldn't be judged on the way we look.
Light shines through the darkest times, no matter the bull. They will not fold if we all uphold
the stories of others, intertwining like brothers, trying to change and free from struggles.
I mean, these kids are such losers.
Slam poetry, 12-year-old slam poetry in the class, and there's some white woman with like those stupid thick frame glasses that are colored purple who's like in the background going like this.
You're allowed to curse in class like that as long as it's against ICE.
12-year-olds are allowed to do this as long as it's ICE, right?
And then everything they're saying, it's like you shouldn't be judged by your race. It's like, when does that happen?
But they mention white women spraying them with mace. And so these kids are aware it's pepper spray season now.
Show watchers, potentially.
I know. And so, imagine kids doing this. It's like you can swear, you can break the rules, you can be a little punk as long as you're making your liberal teacher happy with her political side.
Yeah.
Imagine a white kid dumping migrants left and right, like an Eminem style rap. The migrants in the hotels in the cities, they get more than me. Obviously it wouldn't be cool with the teacher.
That's so good.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. The teacher's obviously got her own agenda there, and I'm sure the other projects were similar. Jasmine Crockett had an interesting...
That's school now. Those kids can't read. They can't do math. We've seen the numbers.
They can't do anything,
I know.
but they can make an anti-ICE thing and worry about racism, and then they're white too, so like they're self-hating whites now. That's what you create.
You got to assume they're blurred faces. You got to assume they're Hispanic, right?
They sound white to me.
Okay.
All right, Jasmine Crockett had an interesting line that she doesn't realize is ironic.
As far as I'm concerned, you randomly kidnapping folk and you throwing them out of the country against their civil rights, against their constitutional rights. And frankly, how would they feel if some other country decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country? Like that is absolutely insane. So yes.
That's exactly what happened, Jasmine.
They were throwing them randomly in our country, and now we got to throw them back, Jazz.
They were emptying their prisons and sending them here. That's exactly what you just said, but you're too stupid to see the irony, I guess?
Yeah, she's really great, man. She's great for us.
Yeah, she keeps on giving. Mm-hmm. All right, next we're going to go to the UK real quick. They had a protest where all the migrants were talking about how the colonizers need to be out. They're saying colonizers out.
Yeah.
And they have all these stupid signs, and they're literally colonizing the UK, a tiny island, and they came from Africa. But they're pretending that the problem is the UK colonizing Africa.
I know.
And that's like the best thing that ever happened to that continent.
That's some Jasmine Crockett level logic expanded into a parade.
Yeah.
So.
And then our next clip is, we have to be fair. We have to show both sides. Some migrants and illegals do have skills, things that I couldn't do or you couldn't do. And we have an example here.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, start.
I couldn't do that.
I know. Good for you, Pakistan.
And I believe they broke the world record.
Wow. That's a new Guinness record?
For nunchucks, coconut on head smash with
6 of your friends.
With 6 of your friends.
Okay, nice. Good for them.
And I wonder if the guys who hold the coconut on their head like have aspirations to be the nunchucker.
And it's like you're not ready. There's like a coach at a pecking order.
Yeah.
And they're hoping someone gets injured so they can step up. It's like a second string quarterback.
And then if you do
get for their shot.
Yeah. And then if you do get injured really bad, like now you got the shakes and now you're never going to be the nunchucker.
Yeah.
So it's actually a risk to be the person with your head getting smashed. Let's end our migrant section with an interesting quote from Aristotle. We're a very cultured show. We're educated.
Yeah, someone else posted this on Twitter. So
I saw it.
So we weren't reading Aristotle at the time.
Can you give that a read, please?
Yeah, for Aristotle, democracy is possible only within homogenous ethnic groups, while despots have always reigned over highly fragmented societies. A multi-ethnic society is thus necessarily and anti-democratic and chaotic, for it lacks philia, this profound flesh and blood fraternity of citizens. Tyrants and despots divide and rule. They want the city divided by ethnic rivalries, the indispensable condition for ensuring a people's sovereignty accordingly resides in its unity. Ethnic chaos prevents all philia from developing.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
A long time ago, he was able to figure that out.
Everybody, and that's what I'm saying. These aren't new issues. These aren't new discoveries. Everybody knows that competing ethnic grouping and interests don't lead to a cohesive nation, right?
Exactly. All right. We're now entering the final page of housekeeping. Make sure you guys tickle and juice the post. Help us with the algo. Comment again. All the good stuff. You know what to do. I'm going to go not fast through this, but there's some stuff that's not going to take a lot of talking, you know?
Okay.
First, I saw a funny Antonio Brown tweet that I thought we should read.
He said once met Gavin Newsom in L.A. He asked for a pic. Didn't know who he was. Took the pic. After, asked my manager who he was. I thought it was Clay Aiken.
That's pretty good. That's nothing. I just wanted you guys to see that. We're not on Twitter right now, so I wanted to show you. Okay. All right, next, Big Joker, one of the followers and friends of the show. He sent an AI RRB thumbnail for when we say Twister got your sister.
Yeah, glad to see his Twister didn't get your sister.
And that's AI, and you can kind of look close and tell it's a little wonky. Like your mouth looks weird, your eyes are crossed.
Yeah, I have like 2 sets of forehead wrinkles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's AI. Twister get your sister.
Okay.
All right, next, there's another AI image. Fat flag, you know, obviously doesn't look anything like me, right?
No, not at all.
Not even close. I don't think that at all.
Yep.
But it's funny to AI. Okay. And I don't look like that, like I mentioned. And I am on day 23 of keto, and it's going great. And over the weekend, I got a smoker, and I've been smoking meats and shit.
Okay, Mark Zuckerberg.
I've been smoking meats and shit. I went 1 for 1 on the first smoke sesh, as always. I made tri-tip. I made short ribs. I made a keto banh mi, which was fantastic. And I could eat that every day, and I will never get tired of smoked meats ever.
I see you're wearing the same shirt in the picture, so I assume you did your laundry on Sunday, and then that was the first shirt out, right?
My last shirt, last cycle, first shirt this cycle.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe you there, brother.
You just, you know how you guys run shirts and underwear and shorts.
I don't know. I think you run them a little differently than the general pop.
Underwear, you run 1 day.
Yeah, even if you work out, it could be 6 hours.
But if you shower at night, put underwear and shorts on, when you wake up in the morning, you can put that same pair of underwear and shorts on.
For sure.
Shorts last like 4 or 5 wears.
Pants and shorts, I would argue, last the longest.
And then shirts, I wore yesterday, I wore today, I could wear tomorrow. I run it like 3 days.
That's bad.
But the third day I'll wear it to work out.
Okay. All right.
It's stinky anyway, then you blow it out one last time, then you put it in the thing.
Okay.
Maybe that's crazy.
It's summer in Florida, buddy.
But
Caught you.
When I say wear it 3 days, I mean like you're just chilling at the house and you're like watching a movie. You're not like working out and doing stuff. And then you wear it and it's like a night shirt and you wear it the next day. And then the next day you wear it to work out and you retire it.
Okay.
All right. No big deal. Next we have a potential CERN theory.
CERN's anomaly shattered reality, but governments knew how to stabilize it using centerline road reflectors. These raised markers aren't just for guiding traffic, they're embedded across highways as quantum anchors, keeping reality intact. Each reflector prevents dimensional instability, correcting shifts unnoticed by humans. When one is damaged, reality subtly distorts.
Did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
And I think you guys, I didn't realize that either, and it does make sense, does ring true. And something to pay attention to. Take a break while being on your phone while driving and look at that instead.
Look at the road reflectors, yeah.
Something. And then they're everywhere. They're all over the whole country, all over the whole world. That is kind of a thing that grounds our reality, potentially.
Okay.
All right, next we're getting to a story.
No pushback. No pushback from me. Let you have it. Move on.
All right, speaking of CERN and timelines, next there was a whistleblower who spoke with Tucker about the elites spending money to make underground cities.
But I think that whether it's a pole shift, magnetic pole shift is one of the, theories of what causes these events. But there is a history of near extinction events. And one of the things that I've looked at, because I'm trying to figure out, between fiscal 1998 and fiscal 2015, there were 21 trillion of undocumentable adjustments in the U.S. government. If you go to our website, missingmoney.solera.com, we have years and years of documentation, including the government financials that show this. And so the question is, where's all this money going? And one of the things I've looked at in the process of looking at where all this money is going is the underground base and city infrastructure and transportation system that's been built. And
I'm sorry?
Yes. So we have built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems. Some of these are some of these are documented as part of the national security infrastructure. I think there are many more.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. And that's also the premise of that movie, of the show Paradise on Hulu, which I like.
Yeah.
And I just watched, and I recommend to you guys. Marsden plays the president. Love Marsden.
Yeah, Marsden puts on a good performance.
He does. We like Marsden.
But yeah, 21 trillion missing.
And we're in 30-something trillion of debt. Is that where all the money went again?
I hope those underground cities are pretty dope.
So the money all went to the underground cities, and then the rest went to black EBT.
Yeah, from Asians and whites to black.
From Asians and whites.
2 trillion every 5 years.
Yeah. So if you do the math, you do the 5 years, and it ends up being that's all the debt.
Yeah.
Potentially. But it's very interesting to hear that, and I think a lot of you guys know there are underground bases, the deep underground military bases, the DUMBs. That's what they're called. And that could be where the trafficked children are kept while they move from position to position. Who knows? But there are underground military cities ready for an extinction event, which is insane. You should watch Paradise on Hulu. You'll like it.
Predictive programming from
Yeah,
Paradise
yeah,
on
yeah.
Hulu? Okay.
Doesn't come from nowhere.
Yeah.
All right, next, a bull got out in the street and a cop tried to stop it. Wrecked him, and he's
Loose bull.
What do you say?
Loose bull.
Loose
Immediately
bull.
show your chest.
Well, he's kind of like, it's like a cow in the street, and it's like a bull's still a bull, even if it's in the street. There's a lesson there.
Yeah.
There
is a lesson there.
There is a lesson there.
What
All
is
right.
that lesson?
That a bull's still a bull.
Okay.
A bull's still a bull.
All right, I like to check you, make sure you're even processing what you're saying. Sometimes I know you're not. So
You're right. All right, our last two pieces of housekeeping, final page first. Autistic people. Can't we get them working at Chipotle and stuff?
yeah, go ahead, expand on that.
They're very precise. They follow the rules. They're on time. They do a good job. They take their job seriously.
Would you rather have, me and Fleckers were talking about this over the weekend, and autistic people, if you ask for a side of XYZ, side of ranch or this, or two sides of this, they're coming back with it. And they might not say, hey, how's everything treating you guys? Blah, blah, blah. Like the bedside manner of a waiter. And I think I'd rather have the sauce exactly on time than the, hey, how's it going? Oh, yeah, there's a great surf shop down the street. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't need that interpersonal relationship with the waiter. I just need the sauces now.
I just need it perfect from a borderline robot person.
It needs to be medium rare. I need the sauce that I ordered specifically with it. I swapped out mashed potatoes for this. I want it 100% good rather than a waiter I like.
So, good point.
So you think autistic people would be capable?
Of replacing the black workers at Chipotle.
Okay. I didn't know it was just that.
Yeah, that's what I meant by
Okay.
it. All right, our last piece is a funny story from over the weekend. I was speaking to the pool guy. My pool got really messed up and green, right? So the pool guy put a bunch of chemicals in it, nuked it. And then this was a couple weeks ago. And then I saw him over the weekend, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, you'll be able to go in your pool by the end of next week." And I was like, "Oh, what?"
Have you been going in the pool?
I've been going in the pool a lot.
Okay.
And
And you have chemicals on you now? Is that what you're...
I'm pretty sure I have chemicals on me, but I do see it a certain way. Do you ever see Dante's Peak?
Yeah.
At the end, when the boat's going across the lake and it's sinking and melting, and the grandma comes out and jumps in the water,
Burns
and
her legs.
burns her legs, but pushes the boat to the edge. It's not like that.
Yeah, you're good.
So I'm good. It's not like that.
You're not getting melted.
You know,
for
it's
sure.
like it's all right. Did I jump in and burn myself? No. Did the hair fall off my body? No. Probably fine.
Okay.
That's how I see it. All right, that's the end of housekeeping. We're now moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right, our first clip of Cringe. This girl is talking about trans pregnancy.
Trans women getting pregnant is not as far off as you'd think. In the past 10 years, 50 babies have been born from a uterus transplant. How this works is a person with a damaged or missing uterus gets a new uterus. Then they get pregnant, then they give birth to a child via C-section. The implanted uterus is then removed so that the person doesn't need to be on anti-rejection meds for the rest of their life. So far, these implants have only been attempted on cis women, but there's nothing that says it couldn't work on a trans woman. After all,
What is this chick's deal? Like, why does she care about trans pregnancy so much? Like, you're a nice, normal, cute-looking girl. Who cares about trans people? Just live your life. Like, you have nice feminine features. No one's ever going to confuse you for a man.
I know.
So why do you care about this?
I know. This lady's obsessed with trans people or something. Must have a trans cousin or sister or something like that.
That's what it has to be, because it's like, just live your normal girl life. You're a normal girl. Like, stop trying to put yourself in the same boat as trans people.
Yeah.
That's so weird to me.
Calm down, lady.
Yeah, calm down, lady.
The surgery was so good that I just don't even know who Lily's a man anymore.
That's Lily?
That's Lily.
He must have had a ton of feminizing surgeries, and now I can't even tell he's a man in a dress anymore.
40, 50 grand worth. Yeah, man, you lost it.
Well, it totally worked, and I feel like an idiot now.
I know, you should.
All right.
We all feel stupid,
I feel
don't we?
so stupid. I couldn't even say she was a man. I didn't even know.
I like how the uterus transplant it's only been done on 50 women, and like it's probably the most horrific stories of women who have fought hard and had like a disease and really want to persevere and have their own kid, and then now some sick porn guy is like, yeah, I want to fucking do it too.
Yeah.
Where does it come out? Comes out of some hole that some doctor made? You guys are sick.
You guys are sick.
All right.
Let's get to our next group of sickos.
Yeah.
We have some adult gay weird babies.
Hello. So I'm looking for a caregiver, someone who's willing to let me move in with them for free and take care of me and treat me like a baby girl 24/7, 365 days a year for the rest of my life. I am a permanent age regatta. Sorry, I like my testing right now.
Yeah.
So this guy's looking for someone to treat him like a baby for free for 365 days a year for the rest of his life. That's it. That's easy. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll take that on.
Post an ad on the telephone pole, a piece of paper, and say, here's the number, pull a tab if you're interested.
So I'm going to take a different weird approach on this. We talked about, this show for a long time has been anti-EBT. We've been talking about Section 8 a little bit and how people kind of get on this lifetime of freebie stuff. And I think it's about time, and we've shown the people dancing in the aisle at Costco or Walmart, whatever, celebrating their EBT. I get $3,000 a month, blah, blah, blah. I think it's about time we have a social media enforcement division of welfare in America. Like, I know that might not be something that would happen 10, 15, 20 years ago, but we've gone so exponential with social media and people being online and stuff that they should be scouring for people like this. And then if they see a video like this, they immediately scan and say, okay, what sort of government benefits? Okay, there's a state disability thing here. There's this. Canceled. The adult baby doesn't get anything anymore.
Social media enforcement department.
That's what I'm thinking. So
that's pretty good.
Aside from the cringe and this person and what kind of pervert they are, which I'm sure is a lot, we also need to be monitoring social media to, there's no world where taxpayer money should be going to this person.
Exactly. And then we'll play the other adult gay weird baby. This one's Muslim.
Hi everyone, Elsa Bear says hi. I guess I just wanted to do a slightly awkward conversation, and it's gonna be.
We don't have to even play it.
Yeah, this guy says he's a 10-year-old Muslim. He's a little
okay.
older.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. And then this stat I found, it's kind of telling about what's going on here.
1955, 161 million American citizens. 1955, 560K mental asylum patients. 2024, 332 million American citizens and only 35K mental asylum patients.
So that's where it happened, everybody. They're all on our streets being weird gay adult babies or trans or doing Urban Decay.
And they just have access to TikTok. They show themselves, they do it. So I don't know. We got to Alcatraz for the bad offenders, and then we need more mental asylums.
Yeah, exactly. That is not a good graph.
Yeah.
The number of patients in facilities goes down, and the number of people doubles. Doesn't really make sense.
And the 1950s, they got a bad rap because like a woman would disobey her husband and they'd be like, she's hysterical. So like maybe we were over the line in 1955, but we're definitely under the line now. So there's a difference, right?
There is. All right, next is a clip about dating. This girl gives some dating advice.
How do you make someone obsessed with you? Literally ignore them. Yeah. Don't text back. Don't initiate plans. No, literally, how I scare men off is I either initiate plans or I reply too quickly. If you want to get rid of a guy, just be like, hey, let's hang out next weekend. They're gone.
That's very interesting. There's another girl whose brain was fried by birth control, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And
At least partially.
And my thoughts on this, it's better as a girl to date someone who likes you instead of trying to date someone who just wants to bang you. Does that make sense? See the difference there?
Yeah.
And then it's like the guys that like her, she sees as below her because she's getting attention from 10 out of 10 guys who just want to bang her.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So, a 10 out of 10 guy will text you at midnight on a Friday trying to hang out, and then she receives she receives that information and goes, oh, like a 10 out of 10 guy wants me. I'm a 10 out of 10. That 6 out of 10 guy who works as a police officer, I'm not going to text him back. He's below me because I get attention from 10 out of 10s. But none of those 10 out of 10s end up marrying you, right? So then you kind of have all these situationships, which you call them situationships, but they're really just like guys that aren't committing to you and having sex with you. And then when you're done with all that, you're pretty ran through. And then a nice guy, you either marry and resent, or you don't settle down because you think you can do better because you've gotten so much attention from the 10 out of 10s for so long.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's modern dating. The girl thinks she's playing the game. She's on a podcast about it. She's too far gone. It's very interesting. The relationship slut podcast crew. It's like they're ultimately the last people you should be taking advice from.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you've worked your way up to a slut podcast, I should be married by 25 or something.
Yeah.
Like a girl who's looking for advice. And it's like, yeah, you dated that pitcher, I guess, on the Giants or whatever baseball team. But is that really applicable to me?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then the advice is to ignore somebody. So
exactly. And then also smart women know that interest from a man isn't enough to like take the next steps. You need someone who's going to like care for you and look out for you and has good values. And guys will bang most things.
Yeah.
I don't want. It's like kind of a vulgar thing to say, but it's like if a guy is interested in hooking up with you, you should see who he would hook up with at 2 a.m. at the bar.
Yeah. It
So it's not even like a value reflection where you're going, well, he wants to have sex with me. That must mean that he's going to really go for anybody. And you need to have your own values and your own morals and only give yourself away in a relationship to someone who actually looks out for you and takes care of you. And that's the lesson of the day.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, you become a femdom.
Yeah.
Which is our next thing. There's an app now for it.
Chirp. It's called Chirp. Chirp, like the smoke alarm in a Urban Decay house. It says like Tinder for femdom. So I'm assuming this will be 90-10 girls to guys.
Yeah.
They're all looking to dominate someone. And wait, is this money or is this just femdom?
I think it's both.
That's findom.
Findom. So this is when the woman dominates the guy.
Okay, so then it'll still just be more guys.
It's still stupid.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on to our next story. Dave Portnoy is mad about anti-Semitism that happened at one of his bars. Here's the clip. This happened at a Barstool bar, I believe, in Philly.
Yeah.
So the sign says, fuck the Jews, and it's at a nightclub late at night. They got table service, and, obviously it's a drunk joke.
Yeah.
And Dave Portnoy is not happy about it. Here's what he said in response.
All right, emergency press conference time. So I'm getting ready to go to the Met Gala, and all of a sudden my phone, the last hour or two, my phone's fucking blowing up. Our bar in Philadelphia, Barstool Sampson Street, usually a great fucking bar. Bottle service, people buy drinks. You get a sign. There was a sign yesterday that said, fuck the Jews. I've been shaking. I've been so fucking mad for the last 2 hours. I instantly got on. This is why the emergency press conference was late, because I was so over the top. It's I'm going to fucking make it my life fucking mission to ruin these people.
So there you go. So ruining their life is the obvious next step, right? And then he kind of gave an ultimatum. He said, I'm sending the people who ordered the fuck the Jews signs at my bar to Auschwitz to learn about the Holocaust. Rather than ruin a couple 20-year-olds' lives, maybe this can be a teaching moment.
Fascinating.
So basically, if you don't want your life ruined, you need to go to a re-education camp to get the Dave Portnoy approved message about your view on Jews.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that, you'll get your life ruined for making a drunk joke at a bar.
One of the most popular guys on the internet is holding a guillotine slightly above your neck saying, I'll ruin it if you don't go learn about Jews at Auschwitz. Which is so weird. So, fuck the Jews on a billboard. It's okay, you're banned from the bar. The people who let this happen, you're obviously retarded. The waitresses or the cocktail girls, you're retarded, you're fired. You two are banned from the bar. I figured it out. It becomes this witch hunt thing, which... I don't really think it makes anybody look good. The immediate re-education, you have to go so over the top on re-education.
And also, if you made a joke saying fuck the Jews and then that ended up ruining your life, then you'd really say fuck the Jews. Wouldn't that really?
No, it's a fuck the Jews, they ruined my life. Oh, okay, fuck the Jews. It becomes circular. Right?
And he makes it seem like they need to go get educated as if the only thing kids learn in school about World War II isn't 6 million Jews died. They don't learn about the 50 million Christians that died. World War II history, 6 million Jews, the Holocaust. That's all any kid knows probably about World War II.
Yeah, anti-Semitism classes. That's what he started with anti-Semitism classes, and then he ended on sending them to Auschwitz. So I guess he's paying them to go to Auschwitz? He's flying them to Poland?
They can check out the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And then, so he also posted their names and doxed them, which is ironic because here's him wearing a shirt that says fuck cancel culture. So he's against cancel culture for everything except for when you make a joke about Jews. Then you get doxed and your life gets threatened, and now you have to go to re-education camp.
And to be fair, I think one of the guys who did this, the main Instagram story was this guy named Mohammed Khan. I'm not really in the business of defending people named Mohammed.
Yeah.
I don't really care. You probably shouldn't even be here. I don't think our founding fathers wanted anyone named Mohammed here.
That's a good point, too.
So it's not like I'm on one side or the other, but this insane cancel culture reaction where Dave Portnoy is literally shaking and making 10 phone calls in an hour because someone did a bit that snuck by the dumb cocktail waitresses.
At 1 a.m. at a bar.
Very, very interesting. Very much an overreaction.
And speaking of very interesting, it also seems like Dave Portnoy looks like Rabbi Shmuley. Isn't that interesting?
That's a bad comparison.
That is not a good comparison, Dave, but that's what it is. And then remember, cancel culture. There was a Kanye tweet. Who you think created cancel culture? And I'm going to cook here a little bit.
Okay.
What did Kanye mean by that? Well, cancel culture, in my opinion, is another version of communism. It's the haves versus the have-nots. And if you have any victim status, you're a have-not. So Jewish people use it with the Holocaust, black people use it with slavery, trans people use it for whatever they're going to, and then you're able to excuse antisocial or immoral behavior because, well, don't say anything to him because black people were slaves, or well, don't call him out because Jewish people died in the Holocaust, or trans people go through a lot. So your victim status gives you actually beneficial treatment and extra good treatment in society because you have a victim status and you're a have-not and you're oppressed. And when you're oppressed and you're a victim, you can kind of get away with doing more. So it's like the ultimate victim card is that.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid logic. I mean, that's the point. It's cancel culture is bad unless it's your group that's being threatened or made fun of or disrespected. And then cancel culture is back on the table, right? I'll ruin your life is the quote. And it's like, okay, what's that?
Yeah. And the real red pill?
Yeah.
Slavery never happened. I'm just kidding. All right. So I hope these kids don't go to Auschwitz. Everyone knows you don't take the free trip to Israel. You don't go to the re-education camp Dave Portnoy thing either.
Yeah, true.
It's pretty obvious stuff. All right, we're moving on now to Urban Decay. All right, our first clip of Urban Decay is this restaurant owner who was robbed and assaulted by the same guy 3 times in a week.
Yeah, listen, we had a guy that robbed the Gnome. He had 50 prior arrests. He robbed me, got out of jail, came back, burglarized me again a few days later, came back a couple weeks later, and did it again. This is madness. The fact that our governor, our mayor, our city council, our DA isn't standing with these business owners and standing out on the street corner and just saying, it's enough. We're done. My son's daycare last year, we had to move his daycare. A car was stolen. It was flipped just a few feet from where the kids are playing outside on the playground. And the kids...
Yeah, but Tim Waltz will talk about the Red Wings game.
Yeah.
It's like, Tim, I've been assaulted and robbed by the same guy 3 times this week, and the police keep letting him go. And he'll go, oh, you can really taste the hops in this beer.
Yeah, you see that new Vikings quarterback? Sure got an arm on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim, my wife, she's in the hospital. Oh, boy. How about that flannel? Real men to go quail hunting in flannel.
Yeah, Tim Waltz can connect with the everyman.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the everyman wants some police and security and a normal community to live in. How about that?
Yeah, 50-time repeat offender. And again, we've said this on the show a bunch of times. That shouldn't exist. There's a certain cap where you just go to Alcatraz.
Yeah, or you go into the ground.
And you hit that 30 ago.
Yeah,
So-
50-time repeat offender. How much does it cost to put this guy in cells and give him court-appointed lawyers and put him on trial, and the judge needs to show up?
Yeah.
Just get him the fuck out. Our next example is kind of similar. This guy opened a high-end restaurant in Oakland. He's a celebrity chef. And then there was a drive-by, and listen to how sad he is.
I think it was a shooting in the dining room.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Uncle. I appreciate this shit. All the fucking hard work. 20 years of fucking working. This is what y'all gave me. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Shit is just great, man. Worked so fucking hard to build this shit. So many fucking late nights, early mornings for this. For this punk ass shit right here.
Sad.
You can hear the pain in the guy's voice. Clearly, he put a lot of passion, hard work into this, and then it just gets ruined by a gang type shooting that happens in the dining room. And this is in Oakland. And so the guy is, he's a high quality chef. He worked really hard, and you're fucked. After 1 or 2 bad incidents, you're screwed, and you never have the same reputation again. This guy started a GoFundMe, and part of the GoFundMe was to help with relocation to a safer neighborhood, right? And so I want to take this back to the Minnesota thing. Because Minnesota, that guy, he got robbed 3 times. He's a restaurant. This guy's dealing with a shooting. There's something that me and Fleckus were talking about this before. Portland and Seattle, they weren't always bad. They got bad slowly over time, over 15 years. They have leftist city council, leftist mayor, whatever. I'm calling it right now, and we're calling it as a show. Minneapolis is not a good place you want to be for the next 10 years.
I'm a seller of Minneapolis.
I've already sold it short. Minneapolis got fucked during George Floyd, majorly. So we're on about year 5 of this. And I don't think anyone has the political will to stop it going forward. And you have to be almost watching, this guy's in Oakland, right? It's like, what do you expect? You're in Oakland and you were trying to help. The guy's a black chef. He probably has family there and all that. But you have to be placing your bets and reading the tea leaves on what you're seeing. Shit decays like over a 10 or 15 year period to becoming untenable. And the pain in this guy's voice is going to be the pain in a lot of Minneapolis owners' voices the same way. And so you have to be smart and you have to be able to look at which way a city is trending. In Minneapolis with the Somalians and the George Floyd guilt and their twink little mayor, Jacob Frey. Is he still mayor there?
Probably.
Nobody's in charge. They're a rudderless boat. And what happens to a rudderless boat? The repeat offenders take advantage of it. The pirates. And it's funny because the Somalis are literal pirates.
And then this guy, he's trying to run a business and do the right thing. You think he thinks white folks is keeping him down?
Probably not.
Probably not. That's not your biggest issue. White supremacy, not your biggest issue. The black people shooting in your restaurant and ruin your business, a little bit worse.
Well, I've noticed when people have legitimate, specific issues, they won't blame a white person. They won't blame fuck white people. When people have nebulous, I can't get a job, or societal issues, I can't hold down a job, or nobody will hire me, then that's white people. When your bar gets trashed and you're looking at the camera and seeing the footage of who broke in last night or whatever, you're not going to blame white people.
Exactly.
You don't look over your shoulder at night when you're at the ATM for white people.
Exactly.
So the more nebulous the issue, the more likely you are to blame the white man.
Exactly. All right, let's get to our next story. There was a shooting in a Kansas City park.
Oh, shit!
Gotta feel good.
25 shots, I think I counted.
Bang,
I don't
bang,
know.
with no shirt on?
No shirt on in the Kansas City summer, and you're walking backwards. Everybody who was talking shit a second ago ain't talking that good shit no more.
Yeah, exactly. He's just a 5-year-old autistic boy at the park.
Yeah.
Don't call him N.
Yeah.
He's just a 5-year-old autistic boy. And then I actually have a graph here I wanted to point out. The mass shooting deaths by race.
Mm-hmm.
White shooters, 41. That's the one everyone wants us to focus on. And then gang violence, 643. And you don't hear a lot of people talking about gang violence. And those are the mass shooting stats.
Yeah.
Something to keep in mind. All right, let's go to our next story.
That's all part of the fatigue that we were talking about with the Shiloh Hendricks thing. We see stuff like this all the time, and then we hear about cops killing black people or something. It's like, have you seen the charts? They're all lopsided like this. It's insane.
Yeah, they'll even say, oh, white people, or you guys are school shooters.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys are the school shooters. A lot of your shootings take place at schools.
You guys are the park shooters. You're everything. You're the restaurant shooters. I don't know what to tell you guys. And so, all these stats and all these things, these videos that come out on a weekly basis, it's all part of it. You know?
Yep. And our next two stories are about cops. We can just read the headline if you'd like.
Yeah, Cincinnati police fatally shot an armed 18-year-old. There was a carjacking scenario. The next day, his father killed a sheriff's deputy, authorities say. And basically, this guy, his son, was involved in a carjacking with 3 other people. There's body cam footage of him running away with a gun in his hand, and police fired at him, killed him. And this dad then went on to kill a random cop.
Yeah.
Who was just in uniform and a white guy.
I'm just reminding everyone we're on track for a hot summer. We're on track for the race war. It's like vigilante justice, but not even vigilante, because vigilante, there actually is some justice.
Vigilante would have been the guy who shot your son. He just killed a random cop, so it was misplaced retard rage.
And then also it's vigilante would have been killing someone who unjustly killed your son.
Yeah.
Like a gang member or whoever. Your son robbed a car, fled on foot, had a gun. The gun was pointed towards an officer, got shot.
Yeah.
It's pretty standard operating procedure right there. But the cop killing a black kid made the dad go kill a cop. Mm-hmm. That's where the kind of shit where it's going to be a hot summer. Next, we have a clip of a guy getting pulled over. And look how he talks to the police. And keep in mind, police is killing us. Police is hunting us. All this stuff. You got to be scared of police. Guy doesn't look very scared to me.
Enough white people. Stop fronting. Okay. Stop fronting.
Okay, no problem with your license, no outstanding tickets.
Mine, go fucking find out you pulled me the fuck over. Fuck is wrong with you? Fuck out of here, man.
Alright, sir. So I have issued a ticket for speeding. The ticket, you have to mail it back to the Cortland Town Court. Just the address in the lower left-hand corner here. The day they see on
Yo,
here.
I know this. I know your game already, man. Get your prejudice ass the fuck out of here and give me my ticket, man.
Do you have any questions?
Get your now suck a dick is what that's the question I got. Suck a dick, you heard?
Get your prejudice ass out of here. You're speeding.
Guy's never getting a warning in his life. Yeah. Guy's never getting let off in his life. And then look at this guy. There's kind of a juxtaposition here with how angry this guy is. And he's filled with this racial hatred at a beautiful lake with like lush forest. Get your prejudice ass out here. Suck my dick.
Yeah.
It's just a certain type of guy who I don't really want to be neighbors with.
Yeah, me neither. All right, our next clip is a brawl in Jacksonville at Margaritas.
It's one man versus about 10 women, and he's swinging away.
He's doing his best.
And he's the security guard.
And that's the security guard. So I wonder, why did white people make him do this? Yeah. Is it so they can laugh at it on their fat racist podcast?
I think so.
For entertainment?
These guys just wanted to give us a free clip to play in Urban Decay. And then your security, you work for the restaurant. You ruined the restaurant. At what cost?
And it's like the guy from Oakland. It's like another restaurant is now just like shut down. And guys, why did this happen? I can't keep doing this. And then Rapboy found like protocol, if you're a security guy, what your protocol is in like a stressful situation.
Yeah, for security to de-escalate. It says stay calm and composed. Nope. Active listening, show empathy.
Nope.
Clear communication, use simple non-threatening language. Respect personal space.
Nope.
Keep a safe distance. Identify triggers. Offer solutions. Know when to disengage.
Yeah, offer solutions. You were swinging on every single person.
This guy ignored all of those. Not that he would learn those or anything, and it's just haymaker season on the fat black chicks who are drunk at margaritas.
And then
in Mississippi.
You've seen these fights. They get crazy. People start throwing punches. They start throwing drinks, start throwing chairs. You kind of wonder, where did you get this idea from? I think I found someone who was maybe giving those ideas to them.
There are going to be people that tell you that you don't belong, and I am here to tell you over and over and over that you absolutely belong. There are people that are going to tell you that there is not a table in which there is a seat for you, but I am here to remind you of Montgomery and those folding chairs. Let me tell you that we know how to use a chair, whether we pulling it up or we doing something else with it.
Yeah. That's where that could be where they got the idea.
Yeah.
Start throwing chairs.
She's not a big WWE fan either. These aren't foldable chairs for performative wrestling moves. She's talking about hitting someone over the head with a chair.
Ways you knock someone out.
Yeah.
All right, our last clip of Urban Decay. This girl is in a white neighborhood and she's mad that it's so nice.
I pulled over to eat some food before my class, and I just got upset because I pulled over into a white neighborhood. It's just so nice, and it just reminds me that everything is about racism. They have so much shade, so much parking. Like, it's the simple shit. I couldn't even just pull over really and enjoy my lunch because I was like, I haven't seen a person of color walk by me once. They're running around and it's white people. Y'all got a really nice neighborhood. Of course y'all do. Anyway.
Yeah, and this is because white people live on the magic dirt that makes their lawns really nice and makes everyone pleasant to be around. And black people got unlucky when we were divvying up the land, and they have to live on the dumb ghetto dirt that does drive-by shootings and breaks all your windows.
Yeah, they have to live on the spray paint, broken glass, criminals loitering outside, prostitution on the corner dirt. And we got the ones where the 30-year-old trees grow in like 5 years. So
yeah, nothing to do with collective behavior. Mm-hmm. It's just mostly white supremacy, like she mentioned. And then we actually have a picture here of a neighborhood before and after. So here's an example of people taking care of their area, 2008 to 2013. That's 5 years.
Yep.
Went to shit. And then we have Detroit in the background, little montage. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And that's because they got the unlucky area where the house decays fast.
Yeah, the magic dirt kind of ran out of that key ingredient of magic, and then that's why they decayed. So they were good that it was the magic dirt in like the 1950s when Detroit was first coming up, and then it ran out of that key magic ingredient.
That maintained the properties. Yeah.
Really sad. She's right. It's just racism.
Yep. Well, don't get too down or too depressed. We're now moving on to Uplifting Gold. All right, our first clip of Uplifting Gold is an emergency plane land in Santa Monica.
Hey. I'm moving. I'm not fucking. I'm not fucking.
Glad everyone's okay.
Me too. I got to imagine if you're a pilot experiencing of a small prop plane like that and you're experiencing mechanical failures, seeing a golf course must be like bingo.
Yeah.
That's like what you want to see. But then he actually landed on kind of a hilly, bumpy section. You go for the fairway, dude. What are you landing across a cart path?
On a hill with a sand trap.
Yeah, this is not the right play.
That can stop you in a second.
Yeah.
But I'm glad everyone's okay. That's crazy to see during golf.
3 on board, they all made it, yeah.
Good. Next, we have people fucking up their car. If you're ever wondering what would happen if you're driving 45 miles an hour and threw your car into park, here it is. That's funny. And the car made it.
Yeah.
That's a tough car.
I don't know what it is, but there's got to be some sort of thing that, it's built to withstand that at least. You won't like drop your whole transmission or something, right? A modern-ish car, like if someone accidentally did this.
That's crazy.
Sell it to CarMax. Sell it to Carvana.
Yeah.
Don't sell it to a friend.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next is some Uplifting Gold. This guy is a singer, but he's a car racing game fanatic, and that's what he sings about.
Feel the engines roar as the streets are brought to life. We are witnessing a gruesome clash, a rivalry so tight. Hear the sirens scream, they're running lean and mean. Let the cops and racers rivalry ignite. Both sides of the law collide.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, sure.
He has a better chance of making it doing a unique niche genre as opposed to just like, oh, I'm trying to be a rapper.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, not my bag of tea, but
it's uplifting.
Sure.
Uplifting to see someone not sing about shooting people and doing drugs and hoes.
If that's the bar, then I think we could fill Uplifting with a lot of songs. So, I don't know.
I just thought it was interesting. I never heard someone sing about stupid stuff before.
Yeah.
All right, next, this Middle Eastern man has a very serious hobby where he blows a horn and it's affecting his face, but it's worth it because he loves blowing the horn so much. Might sound crazy. I respect that. When you let your passion or your hobby like destroy you over time.
Yeah.
The thing you love, you let the thing you love kill you, and he loves blowing the horn, and then he has like a deformed face from that, but it's worth it because he loves blowing the horn so much. That's
I don't know if it's permanently deformed though, dude. I think that's his peak.
His cheeks are wider than they need to be when he's resting.
Okay.
So I respect that.
I
All
agree
right.
with you there.
Next is a horse that plays dead to avoid getting ridden.
In the animal kingdom, there is a horse named Tom. He has become a master of...
I hate this AI shit. I'm turning the volume down. Here it is. He doesn't let people ride him and he plays dead. I don't like... I can't let AI script generator go.
I like it.
I have something against it.
So whenever someone tries to ride him, he plays dead. And then they can trick him and give him a carrot and he comes back to life, but then he plays dead again. That's funny. Horses are smart.
Yeah, that is.
All right, next, this guy plants wildflowers at random places in the city. There's no music, so it's copywritten, but it's pretty good. He's going around shaking the flowers. People say, oh, it doesn't work. And then here's the same flower beds not too long after, and they all grow these nice wildflowers.
He's a Johnny Appleseed type, except he does wildflowers.
And then
Nobody ever did that in Detroit.
Yeah.
Nobody ever thought, hey, maybe we should do something like this in Detroit.
And then the cities look better, and then the cities aren't being taken care of. There's just like dirt plots anyway, so you might as well.
And this guy's selling a native wildflower shaker kits. So he even made a little business.
And then everyone else can improve their neighborhoods. All right, last clip of the whole show. My son at 9:30 p.m. telling me he has a diorama due tomorrow on Komodo dragons.
I remembered about some stuff I'm going to do tomorrow. And remind me, I got this paper yesterday from my teacher, and my friends were telling me I have to like make a little something of my creature that I was researching today. And for a long time, I told you about it, Komodo dragons. I think the background, and it had the paper in my backpack. My backpack is in the car, I think, but at least I know I have to do it. I have to turn it in tomorrow. It's due tomorrow. And you want me to do this tonight? Well, I don't think so, but I think it's required. And you're just telling me now? Because I forgot. I'm so sorry. It's okay, baby. Okay. Let's look at it. If you want, you can take a little rest, or we can do it now.
If you want, you can take a little rest, or you could do it now.
Oh,
that's good.
yeah.
That's uplifting. That's Americana. And that kid's like, he's got the words where he's trying to like explain it in like the softest way possible. Where it's like, I kind of have this thing going. I used to do that. It's like circle talking, where it's like, I kind of have this thing we got to do, and it's not a big deal, but it is due tomorrow, and it's in my car. I left it there, and I need you to help me. You don't have to help me right now, but we kind of got to get going on this right now.
Yeah, it's a universal little kid experience to absolutely nuke your mother's night one time.
At 9:30.
Yeah.
Keep you up all night. All right. That is the end of the show. We do have a very special shout out today. It's not a normal shout out. A show watcher from Maine, a good friend of the show, made myself and Richard Rapboy and Chinese Donut Boy a bunch of these miniatures. I don't know how to describe them, but she made like oysters. I have pictures of them here, as you guys can see. All of these cool miniatures. And they can be magnets, they can be earrings, they can just be miniatures that you guys keep on your desk or give to someone as a joke. She can make anything. And her Instagram is at Jeweled by Jessie, Jessi, at Jeweled by Jessie. She makes very cool miniatures, as you guys can see behind us. Check her out. She's a show watcher. She's been a supporter of ours for a while, and she made us really cool stuff, and she can make you really good stuff too if you're interested. Great gifts, earrings, magnets, funny bits. She'll make whatever if it aligns. So go check her out and support her. She's a very talented artist, and we're very grateful, Jessie, for sending us those. Thank you for sending us the miniatures. And thank you guys for watching. If you want 30 minutes extra show, join Bonusland, FleckisTalks.com, starting right now. And if not, we're disappointed you didn't join, but we will see you on Friday.
Again, I don't want to pay taxes or get a job. I just want to be a baby forever.